as most of you are aware, or some people who are new to it, they must have seen from the LinkedIn group, which is around growing approximately to 3,000 people now. So thus LinkedIn is started primarily in 220, this year itself, 221 starting only. But Dublin Indian Student Community is a initiative which is done in 2018, and as we started in 2018 with a couple of college friends, university friends from different universities. And just to give a quick background, I'll not bore you up because our agenda is immigration and the visas parts, which is very crucial. So why we are telling, because our main members and followers are stamp 2, 1G and 1. So that's why we focus on connecting, professionalism, professionals community, and possibilities of career growth. Last time we did a lot of events on HR side. So we are trying to solve these members, challenges. So coming to the numbers, and we focus on these key objectives. So primarily is networking, mentoring, giving first-hand information, not giving you fake stories, is actual thing, doing live events. And these are numbers how I started, and we built it up. Madvin is one of them, Ankit is there, friends are more there. So we started in 2018, how we build up. So that's the current number. We have a lot of 7,000 followers, and some of you are already here in our chat today and asking, key questions. And we are lucky to have our guest speaker, Shashank, as today. And thanks to a lot of people who are here who are following and asking questions, even they are small and silly. And we have started initiative for e-referrals, and a lot of recruiters are now doing events. And in December and January, we are hoping to have more events in terms of companies. So these are the recruiters in terms of stakeholders and volunteers, though they take different initiatives. Like this event is 100% by volunteers. And our area is member engagements and building communities in terms of networking with Irish companies. And that's the event we do it. We have once a month, so it's coming on 28th, and you might get a link in your chat. Feel free to register for that event. So these are the past events we did. So I'm just running off quickly so we can start on our agenda. So as I told you initially, face-to-face events we do quarterly, and we have some of the e-referrals. Right now we have around 10 plus companies. So some of the companies like big and small and medium, every type. So you can seek guidance, mentorship from the people before applying, rather than just applying directly without knowledge. So we are trying to make your chances of success to these companies better, rather than applying 50 100. That's the initiative for our stamp 1G and 1. So we are very much focused on our target customer and to be solving those problems. And today initiative is these are the events we do, networking on this, professional networking we do when we have face-to-face events. And a lot of career and mentoring sessions are done with professionals. This time we have around 10 to 15 working professionals which came apart from students also. So it's a good opportunity quarterly to connect apart from there. And yeah, a lot of socialize and learning skills. So these are different volunteering initiatives. If you want to, take part, please put yourself or your remarks to volunteer in the comments, and we'll be, sending you details about that volunteering. So now, based on our initiatives and focus, as today's agenda I told you, is primarily coming back to the slides. So here. So is helping our the community in terms of, so immigration is a key, as you know. And I'll stop sharing my screen in terms, and I'll present to you other screen which I will like our guest speaker Mr. Shashank to introduce himself, and I'll present his slides. He's primarily focused on what is his agenda, and he can introduce. Let me give me a second to present his slides also. And guys, if you have any questions, so let me know. Presenting. Please close this. So any questions right now? Anybody wants to speak up? Feel free. This is not a company presentation. This is a community presentation. Frankly, we want to. Yeah, we are not running a presentation for the company's sake that we have to sell something. So we are here to help network and take the agenda. So why this problem is important? because people are not aware, they are misguided. So that's why it's a very key effort we are, and still people are joining. This is very good. So we'll share this presentation about DISC. We call DISC in small, in short form. Now I'm presenting the Shashank slides also, and we'll like Shashank to give a brief introduction about himself. So that will be best part. Should I download it or is okay like?
Just expand it if you can.
Yeah, yeah. I think. Or
Amit, is better to just download and
yeah,
present from local machine. It will be full screen. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No worries. So actually, my screen is already full. So many slides, even I don't know. Yeah. No, no, no worry. So if so, how here if we increase, okay, how sideline?
No, 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 no. Under the top right corner, there is a down arrow. Just click on that.
No, it's already downloaded. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's it. Close this bottom part. Just show all के बाजू में जो cross है उसको दबा दो.
Sure.
Yeah. So
Thanks.
that's
Yeah.
perfect. Do you want to hit this button which is just beside the plus icon?
Yeah,
This one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, hit it again just to fit to page. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Right. So
I'll give the give session to Shashank just to give a brief introduction. Most of you are aware already of him, and thanks Shashank for taking this session.
That's no problem at all. First of all, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this event organized by the Dublin Indian Students Community. I really enjoy your events, and I must say you're doing an exceptional job in bringing the student community together, and as well as young professionals, because that is the direction we want to head in. It's about contributing to the Irish economy, and only then immigration will be valued. Immigration is about giving and receiving. Okay, if we receive something, we must always give back. And this is the reason why I always start all my presentations with a pledge to share whatever I share with you today. The knowledge that I share with you, I want you to share with others by empowering others to create a just environment for collective growth. Your three mission in life is to create a just environment, empower others for grow together. Okay. So my name is Shashank Chakerwarti. I came to Ireland at age 12. I did my schooling here, did my college here, grew up here, but I was introduced to immigration when I was working with an immigration firm called Rye Immigration. I worked as a business developer. Never got paid, but I got paid in knowledge. So that is what I'm going to share with you today. So do you want to move to the next slide?
Yeah, sure.
Immigration is a journey. It is a process. People come to different lands to explore, to grow, and more important to me, that it's time to evolve. Because as we grow, we're moving towards a global citizenship. We are no longer just Indians. We are also residents of Ireland, and this land is going to become our home. So participation is extremely important if you want to grow in this country. And today we're going to talk about Stamp 2. We're going to talk about the right to work on Stamp 1G and how you can progress towards applying for a work permit. These is the 3 steps a student has to go through to settle in Ireland. Next slide. So Stamp 2 is actually the permission to study in Ireland. I will also, you know what, I will rather not read from your screen because I have it open here. It's bigger, I can see here.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
yeah, the guidelines for degree program students. So this is actually a link which you can open in your own time, as the slides will be shared with all of you. It was introduced in 2011, right? It applies to all degree students, graduates, level 7, 8, 9, and 10. 10 is PhD, okay? It's given to full-time students. Level 7 is actually just a 6-month course, or it's less than a bachelor's. But as you move to bachelor's, that's what I focus on. I focus on level 8 and level 9. Level 10, I don't really focus too much on because that's PhD. It's not the hum bhi nahi padhte bhai. So moving on, when you're applying for a stamp 2, you must have around 6,000 euros in your account. And I'm going to go through the entire process. So if you have already done this part, no problem, stay with me. And this is actually more important to those who are willing to come forward and go into the immigration system as they have just arrived in the country. Those 6,000 euros is something that you must have already paid off your fees, and anything additional you can pay later. That's no problem. You must have at least 3,000 euros in your account, right? That is very important. After that, you don't have money, that's okay. You must have a private medical insurance. This is crucial to get yourself a stamp 2 and also get it renewed for every other stamp. When you're given a stamp 2, if it's not for English language student, because that is most of this courses are done by South American students. Most of the people who come from India are actually here for degree courses. Okay, so your stamp 2 will be given for 12 months, and yeah, and you have a statutory fee of 300 euros that you must pay when you receive your IRP card. That cannot be waived off. We have actually tried, but yeah, the minister did not listen to us. Moving on to the next slide, we'll tell you.
Okay, do you want to take questions right now? Anybody has
No,
questions?
I have a slide at the end that will just ask questions. Okay. So what I will advise people is that as I'm going through one slide at a time, please make notes and your questions. And in the end, I will answer all your questions. Okay.
Great.
So moving on to the next one, when it comes to renewing your stamp 2, you must have 85% attendance in class. You must be making academic progress. That means you must be moving from year 1 to year 2 to year 3. And if you fail, should you want to repeat a year, you must give them a reason, or you need an extension to do your thesis or do something. You must give them an appropriate reason, and they will give you an extension. Immigration in this country is highly compassionate, right? There is no set belief system कि ऐसा ही होना चाहिए. It doesn't work like that. Okay, if you give them a proper explanation, there is a discretionary power that the Minister for Justice holds, and she can give you, or he can give you, an extension. Okay, you must have a private medical insurance, you must have paid your fees, and you must not have any criminal record. So please stay away from these kind of things. You must always be progressing towards, or if you want to change your course, you can always change your course, but you must stay in that same level. Now you can change your field of expertise, but you must not go downwards. So अगर level 8 करो तो level 7 पे मत आओ, 9 से 8 पे नहीं आएगा, 9 से ऊपर जाएगा, 8 से ऊपर जाएगा. ठीक है. Stamp 2 gives you the permission to work 20 hours a week. That is what casual employment means. ठीक है. And at the same time, stamp 2 holders have the right to work full time during the holiday period, which is June, July, August, and September. Remember, guys, these 4 months give you the right to work full time. And on top of that, you have another month from the 15th of December to 15th of Jan, which is the Christmas period. And even during that time, you have the right to work full time. So your summer months of June, July, August, September, full time, 40 hours. 15 December to 15 Jan, 1 month, full time, 40 hours. The remaining, you can only work 20 hours. And when I say 20 hours, that does not mean it 20 ghante you have worked with this employer and then you work for 20 hours with another employer. No, 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 no. A cumulative 20 hours, okay? Moving on to the next slide, additional points. You may not obtain a social welfare payments when you're on stamp 2. Otherwise, you will become a burden on the state, and the state is no longer obliged to give you a permission. Now, I'm actually quite surprised that during COVID, this government has given all stamp 2 holders who are working in casual employment pandemic unemployment payment. So that kind of shows how compassionate this country is and how welcoming it is to immigrants. But we must not take advantage of that. I've seen people who've taken advantage of that. Guys, don't do that. Take aise mat karo, because that kind of hurts our work in building a better future. Non-nationals must not remain in the state after they have completed 7 years on student visa and the 8th year. So this was a rule that had come in because a lot of students would come in, they will stay back, and then they will apply for long-term residency on humanitarian grounds. So for that reason, the government has put a threshold that you must not cross 7 years. You cannot be on a stamp 2 for more than 7 years. Your 7th year can either be on a 1G. You are allowed to live in the country for the 8th year on either a 1G or stamp 2 pursuing a master's degree. Okay, you're not allowed to stay anything more than 8 years, right? Stamp 2 and stamp 1G are not reckonable residence for citizenship. Reckonable residence is considered so your continuous residence in the state is called reckonable residence. But this 1G is separate to the spouses of critical skills. That is a different subject matter. We shall talk about that later. But stamp 2 and stamp 1G are not considered towards reckonable residence. Moving on to the next slide. Stamp 1G, third level graduate program. So this was actually extended on 24th Jan 2017, when we actually met the Minister for Justice, Equality and Taoiseach, Francis Fitzgerald, who is now the member of the European Parliament. There's a very funny story about this. So this was something that people were just talking, because Stamp 1G is going to be extended, but there was no definite statutory declaration that this has been done. And we actually posted it on our website everywhere. People started to apply for Stamp 1G extension. The immigration guys were like, ye kab hua? When this happened? And within 6 months, they had to release it as an official press release that Stamp 1G has been extended. So the intention of this program is to allow legally residents, Irish educated, non-EA graduates holding an award of a recognized Irish awarding body, which is recognized by QQI, Quality Qualifications Ireland, to remain in Ireland after the studies. This should be for the purpose of seeking graduate level employment, applying for a general employment, critical skills employment, or research hosting agreement. Whoever is using their Stamp 1G to seek an internship, you're wasting your time in this country. Please don't do that. Internships are great to seek experience. Do that during your Stamp 2 years. During Stamp 1G, you have only 2 years. That's a limited amount of time. So Stamp 1G is 1 year for level 8 graduates and 2 years for level 9 graduates. So please don't waste your time in getting any internships during 1G. Go for full-time jobs. Do your Stamp 2 thing. Stamp 1G notified in writing by the awarding body. Okay, so you receive a letter that you've completed your course, or even your transcripts is enough to get yourself a Stamp 1G. You must be holding a valid Stamp 2 IRB card, and you can apply within the 6 months of completing the course, right? You can also, so there's a discretionary period that if your stamp has expired, you can apply within 90 days. So no stress. A lot of people stress that my visa is expiring. I don't know what to do. I'm not getting an appointment. Don't worry too much. There is discretionary period of grace. Okay, you can apply within 90 days. However, it is not recommended. Okay, must not exceed the 7-year limit, as I stated earlier. You must not have accessed this scheme for more than 2 occasions. So you cannot get it for more than 2 years, right? Granted for a period of 12 months, okay? Permitted to work full-time for the entire duration. Stamp 1G gives you the right to work full-time, 40 hours a week in this country. However, you cannot be involved in any sort of self-employment activities, right? वो allowed nahi hai. Level 9 masters, that's what I was saying. They are granted for 2 years. First year, you get it for 12 months, and then you can renew it for the further 12 months, okay? Subjected to the 8-year limit, right? And I will talk about the Stamp 1G extension later on. Can you move to the next slide, please? We go to work permits now. So the work permits department is actually looked after by the Business Enterprise and Innovation Department, which is under Minister for Business. These uh, work permits are given as per the Employment Permits Act 2003-2014, but we're not going to go into the regulations part. Okay, it is a general policy for this country to always seek EU or Irish labor in the country. That's why they're elected in the first place. Okay, so don't feel that we are so highly qualified and things like that. There's no automatic right to that, but that's the reason why this employment permit system is there, and that's what we are going to help you with. Okay, move on to the next slide. There are 9 different types of employment permits in this country. However, today we're going to discuss only 2, critical skills and general employment. However, when the slides are shared, you're more than welcome to read the 9 different employment permits. Next, please. So critical skills employment permit is something I absolutely love, because this is what I specialize in, and this is what I want you guys to specialize in. That is what you are: highly qualified, highly educated, critical skilled people, right? So there is a critical skills occupation list. That is a link over there, right? If you click that link, it will take you directly to that specific location. Please apply your job according to that list should you want to come into critical skills, right? बहुत लोग हैं, a lot of people come to me saying that I have this job, I have this description, I have this title, and I'm like, no use. Because the way the Department of Business works, they have a checklist. They look at the cross check, tick, 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 right? If your title doesn't match the occupation, critical skills occupation list, they're going to cancel your application straight away. Okay, all occupations use.
Somebody's speaker. Yeah, thanks a lot for muting you.
No problem. All occupations with a minimum annual remuneration of over 64,000. Sorry, did you move a slide?
So we are on critical skill right now. Can you see the screen, guys?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Here. Okay. So all occupations with a minimum annual remuneration of over 64,000 comes under critical skills. Take it. Other than those who are on the ineligible list. Take it. So you have minimum remuneration of 32,000. If you're applying on the basis of that occupation list that has been shared in point one, right? However, you can apply for any other occupation as well if your annual remuneration is 64,000, right? But that job title must not be listed in the ineligible list. Ineligible list, what is that? Ineligible list is like somebody who is working in McDonald's making a burger, right? I don't care if McDonald's wants to pay you 64,000 euros. You can't apply for critical skills for making a burger. You know what I mean? That is ineligible, right? However, if there's any other title, any other position that pays you 64,000, you're allowed to apply for a critical skills. And critical skills is very crucial. I'll tell you why. So number one, you must secure a 2-year job offer, all right, to apply for critical skills. Second, you must possess all the relevant qualifications, skills, and experience that are required for this employment permit. And you must display this in the form. It is applied online. It is highly self-explanatory, right? It gives you all the relevant boxes. और उसमें आपको सिर्फ explain करना है who you are and what you do and what your experience and qualifications are. Okay. Secondly, your company must satisfy the 50-50 ratio. This is crucial for both employment permits. 50% must be EU or EEA nationals, and the other 50% can be non-EU. Should your company, let's say, if you have around 4 non-EUs and 3 EUs, you cannot apply for critical skills in that company. You must have 3 non-EUs or 4 EUs, then you can apply for a 4th critical skill employment permit, which is a non-EU. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Again, Q&A, we can do all that discussion. Okay. Secondly, however, just go back for a second. This 50-50 ratio can be waived off if your company or your startup is registered with the revenue and a client of Enterprise Ireland or IDA Ireland. This is something that a lot of people don't realize. If you're working for a startup and if that company is registered is a client of Enterprise Ireland or IDA Ireland, they can give you a letter, right, which will then allow that startup to hire a person with critical skills or even general employment. Take it, because look, they need talent to start a business from scratch. Moving to the next point, please. Next. So you can apply 12 weeks before the employment start date. You must always apply because that is the amount of time it takes for critical skills. You can't work in this country without a valid permit, right? So you must apply 12 weeks before your start date. It is an online process and the application fee is 1,000 euros. For this 1,000 euros, you get your employment permit for 2 years. A labor market needs test is not required. We will discuss what labor market needs test is in the last slide. You may apply immediately for family reunification. So if you're on a CSEP visa, you can apply, you can call your family over, right? You may apply for a stamp 4 support letter after completing 21 months of continuous employment in the state. 21 months of you can apply for a stamp 4 a support letter. Take care. Holders of this permit are granted a stamp 1 permission, which is reckonable for the purpose of naturalization and long-term residence. Reckonable residence means residence in Ireland that counts towards becoming eligible to apply for naturalization. It is very important that people understand this. Take care. Stamp 1G and Stamp 2 is not counted, but when you get yourself a critical skills, it is counted towards reckonable residence, and you only need critical skills for 2 years. Moving on to the next slide. 2 years to get your stamp 4. Then we have general employment. So all occupations are eligible for this general employment permit, except the ineligible list of occupations. Please keep in mind that you are aware of these 2 very specific lists: critical skills occupation list and the ineligible list of occupations. Ineligible list, that means you can't apply for any sort of employment permit for that. Critical skills is for the critical skills. Minimum annual remuneration is 30,000 euros for general. Minimum annual remuneration of critical is 32,000, right? But you know, in what happens in some cases, you are a recent graduate and your company will not give you 32,000. So what do? You can still apply for an employment permit. There, like, hope is not lost. You can still apply for an employment permit, for the general employment permit, which is at 27,000 for recent graduates. 27,000, repeat that, for recent graduates in an ICT profession or a critical role. But when it comes to renewal, you must be earning 30K at the time of renewal, annual, okay? Again, 50-50% rule applies here as well. At the time of making the employment permit, you pay 500 euros for 6 months, 1,000 euros for 6 months. Sorry, for 1 year. This is from 6 months upwards. Take it. Go back. Yeah. Apply for long-term residency after 5 years. So in critical skills, you need it for 2 years. You apply for stamp 4 straight after. General, you must have general for 5 years, and then you can apply for long-term residency. And remember, guys, general is renewed every year. So it is a really pain in the butt. Take it. There's no point in going for general. However, if you don't have a critical skills role, tough luck, right? Secondly, I always advise people that if you're going to apply for general employment for 5 years, you might as well apply for naturalization straight away, because that's the amount of time you need to apply for naturalization anyway. There's no point going for long-term residency. Different subject matter. Next slide, please. This is only applicable to general employment permits. Labor's needs test. This is the reason why I don't like general. Critical is the best, right? The government policy is that employment opportunities which arise in Ireland should be in the first instance be offered to suitable skilled Irish and other EEA nationals. Advertisement of the role for which a non-national seeks to obtain an employment permit. No, if and only if no suitable qualified person is found in Ireland or even in the EU, only then a non-national may be hired and applied for an employment permit. Okay. What are the things that you must advertise? You must advertise, first of all, with the Department of Employment Affairs, right, and Social Protection Employment Service, employment network for at least 4 weeks, right? It should run as an ad for 4 weeks, and you have to give this as evidence. These are all attachments that have to go with the general employment permit application. Second, you must also advertise this in a national newspaper for at least 3 days. Next slide. Then national newspaper and a local newspaper or a jobs website separate to the department's website for 3 days. And you have to attach all of these as evidence when you're making a general employment permit application. And a lot of companies don't do that. That's why I'm not a big fan of GEP. What is needed in the advertisement: a description of the employment, name of the employer, minimum annual remuneration, location of employment, and the hours of work. Next slide.
Guys, keep on putting your questions in the chat. Don't wait for the last. At least you can start typing in the question.
Yeah. No worries. Next slide. I think we're done. So next slide. So guys, this is something that I do always. It is very important for me that you guys take a pledge to share this knowledge and empower others to create a just environment for collective growth, because collaboration is key. And that is what we at DISC do. We collaborate with each other to help each other, and we want to create an environment for collective growth. And on this note, I welcome questions and answers.
Thanks, Shashank. And we are open for the questions right now. I'll stop sharing screen. Like, give me a sec, guys. And what we'll do, open your mic, open your cameras, speak up, and let me stop sharing.
And if you ask a question, please make sure you have your video on, because I will not answer to just the audios.
Yeah,
it
guys,
will make me feel part of the conversation.
And, start putting your questions in chat, and share your questions. Any questions we have from the volunteers? Let me see the views, because if you are. So we'll wait for a second. See, everybody can open their views to be verified if you're in Ireland, right?
Hi, Shashank.
Hello, good afternoon. How are you?
Hey, Shashank, I'm good.
Very good.
We might know each other. We might not know each other. I'm Ankit. I'm a co-founder with DISC. And nice meeting you. And thank you so much for giving us an opportunity to give you with Dublin Indian student community as a speaker for the immigration. Lots of students, they feel that, like they have a clarity regarding the immigration. So thank you so much. I have a question based on 1G. And that question is, I recently went through the immigration site and I checked that is it the 1G like as a graduate visa? Is that considered as a recognizable resident for the
No,
citizenship?
no, I just mentioned that in the slide. It is not considered as rectangular residence because it is student permission. Student permissions are not considered. However, if your stamp 1G is given to you on
Hmm.
the basis of being a spouse of a critical skills visa holder,
Okay.
then it is considered for rectangular residence.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Got
Because
it.
there are two stamp 1G. One is a student permission 1G, which
Hmm.
is given to a student.
Hmm.
The other 1G is given to a spouse of a critical skills holder.
Hmm.
Okay, the spouse one considers, the student permission does not consider.
Okay. Okay. Got
Yeah.
it. So like the journey starts from the critical skills stamp one, and then 5 years for the residence for the critical skills and the stamp four.
So that is what I'm saying.
Then
Immigration is a journey, and this is my plan with you guys that I'll continue sharing this journey. Abhi humne ye kiya. We did stamp 2, stamp 1G, and work permit. Next
Mhm.
event is going to be how to apply for a work permit. Step by step guide. I will share my screen and do that. Next event is going to be nationalization. I'll make you all citizens. Don't worry. Keep planning, hamara.
Yeah, sure,
You
sure.
all
We
vote
will
for
be.
me. ठीक है.
Yeah, I
I
think
actually made a plan of, like 5 years of Excel, like how I will achieve my citizenship in the next 5 years.
Fair play, fair play. You come to me for your signatures, okay? I'll do your
Sure,
everything.
absolutely, absolutely. I will come.
So
Thank you. Thank you so
Priya
much.
Bertha, no problem. Priya Bertha has a question. Guys, at the slide is proceeding. Keep your questions ready. Oh, that's
yeah. So
Ashish Bhardwaj.
stamp two, speak up, guys, or if you want to take, as
So let me
Yeah.
just answer the questions that are in the chat, and then we can talk as well. Okay. Ashish Bhardwaj has asked us, can we sponsor ourselves for critical skills permit for or only the employer can do that? No, Ashish, you can actually make this application yourself and pay the
Okay.
1,000 euros yourself. Okay. So
All right.
all you need from the employer is your contract, their tax clearance certificate, and
Okay.
that's about it. There's nothing else you need.
So is there any difference in the success rate, like if we ourselves apply for that or if the employers apply for that?
None of that.
No. Okay.
You can apply yourself. See, this is something
All
that
right.
you also have to tell your employer. And that is why what we're trying to do is empowering you with the right knowledge and skills so that you are confident when you approach your employer. Okay, I
Yeah.
know where I stand. I only want these two things. When you confidently tell them that this is all I need from you, then they're like, okay, isko pata hai kya karna. He knows what to do, right? And that
Okay.
is what I need you guys to deliver now from here onwards, right? So our
Sure.
next
Thank you.
event is actually going to be on work permits, on how to apply.
Sure. Definitely will be part of that.
Yeah. Then after that's Raja Divakar. For critical visa, company should be ready to sponsor. No, company does not ready to sponsor, right? Company does not need to give you anything other than a 2-year job offer and their tax clearance certificates and things like that, right? Next. Oh, by the way, अपना वो मत बंद करो वीडियो. जब चालू है तो चालू रहने दो ना. Right?
yeah.
You know, Sati Charvak is the minimum remuneration for critical skills 64K. I thought no. So the minimum remuneration for critical skills is 32,000. If your job is listed on the critical skills occupation list, take it. That list has been linked in the slide, which will be shared with you, right? However, any other occupation, that's why I keep saying you can apply for any other occupation, which gives you 64,000. It will be applicable for critical skills.
So Shashank, here it means to say if you have 64,000 above, you are automatically applicable for critical skill.
100%. However, that occupation must not be in the ineligible list. Take it,
Yeah.
as I mentioned, a chef of McDonald's getting 64,000 cannot become critical skills, right?
Yes. So that's why that point has to, teased out and asked out in detail, no worries. So yeah, please go ahead.
Rohit Kumar, can you share links? Yes, we'll share the slides. Don't worry. Guys, the
So
floor
we are
is
done
open.
with the chat questions, I think. Anybody wants to, then we have a couple of more questions for our volunteers, but we will give all participants,
Yes, Anita.
Yeah, actually, I want to ask if I am a student of level 9. So first of all, I have to take a process. Pehle student visa, then stamp 1, then stamp 1G or फिर work permit, or I can directly apply for the critical skills
Oh, you can
because
you can, if you are
okay,
getting an opportunity to apply for critical skills, go for it.
okay. So it's
You know,
nothing like that. कैसा
no,
process
no,
नहीं
no.
है. We
Don't
can
waste
do
your
it.
time. If you have this opportunity, go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's good. That makes sense because in India, I'm a dentist, and so I am just planning to give the exam in Ireland registration program because I'm a doctor's के लिए अलग एक exam होता है to get registered. So right now I'm doing MBA also, but still I'm just little bit confused कि हमें ऐसा तो नहीं मुझे कि stamp 1G पहले apply करना है, then I have to go for a different level than 2 and all. So if I eligible for critical skills, then I can make my because I have a daughter also, so she can come.
If you get yourself a critical skills, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Any other questions?
Hi, Shashank. I have a question.
Fadal, is it?
Yeah.
Good afternoon.
So, Shashank, my question is if I'm on critical skills already, let's say, and if I wish to switch a job, so you mentioned that after a year I can switch a job to another company which is providing me critical skills visa. So, what will be the whole process of it? Can you explain a bit about it?
It's the exact same process. The way you apply for your critical skills employment permit is the exact same way you apply for your second critical skills employment permit. Basically, what this thing states, this is the most confusing question that is currently going around. Okay? What the department states is that you cannot change your employer for the first 12 months, right? If it's your first employment in the country, right? However, once you've completed your 12 months with the first employer, you can change your employer at any time. However, the process to change that employer is the same way you apply for your first critical skills. That means you have to go and reapply for critical skills employment permit, pay the 1,000 euros, go to EPOS, create the account, and make the application.
Okay.
There is no difference. The process is the same. And once your second critical skills employment permit is approved, your first one has to be cancelled.
So, what I believe is this critical skill employment permit must having some end date with it, right? Like our stamp 1G cards has some end date on it. So, does critical skills also comes with an end date?
Yes, it's given for 2 years.
2 years.
For 2 years, okay. And at what time should I initiate applying the second critical skills visa while switching?
12 weeks before the starting date of your job.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, understood.
I have a related question on this area, Shashank. I think might be somebody wants to know. For example, some person has left a job after 12 months, right? And they are on critical skills. And company has, made them some of it because of some of the reasons they have been removed from the company. Now they have become redundant, right? And they are not able to find jobs, so any new company can sponsor them for critical skill. So at that time, what do you suggest? What are the, because there is no written rule. I was looking, some of the students I know, they get 2 months. They are telling 3 months to find a job, or they are deported from the country because they are not on 1G right now. They don't have a critical skill because they have removed from the company because of some reasons, or they left it or company removed them.
Yeah.
What do you suggest for those people? What is the process? They should, they are deported, or they should apply for new jobs, wait for critical skill. What is the, suggestions at that, people?
Okay. So once you're made redundant, you must notify the employment permit section straight away. Okay. And then the employment permit section will allow you up to 6 months from the date of your residency to stay in the country and find another job. But after those 6 months, if you can't find a job, then you will have to leave.
Great. Thanks a lot. I think this is a lot of confusion. Even students are not.
I will actually just text Control C. 1 second.
Sure.
There you go. That is the answer.
Yeah.
And
So
I've
there's
also linked the redundancy nomination form. Okay. So this is the form we have to send.
Sure. So guys, yeah, that was my question related to thought. I opportunity. Feel free to ask. Devika, you have a question?
I just want to answer Rini here because she has texted in the chat.
Yeah, sure.
Does this stamp 2 come under recognizer resident? Stamp 2 does not come under recognizer, not even for PhD. Okay, PhD is student permission. Right, we can actually discuss this thing later on, but PhD students are on stamp 2 and it does not come in recognizer residence. Devika.
Hi everyone. So I have really no questions because my doubts are cleared with the conversation that happened. So yeah, I thought, I mean, Amit was saying a lot many times like you can on your videos and all. So I was like, okay, fine, let's do that.
That's good. See,
Thank
when
you
we're
so much.
talking and asking questions, some doubts from us can clarify multiple people questions. Because I think, Medwin, we have around 40, 50 people today. Your voice is mute, no worries, but we are used to speak on
So
mute.
actually, I'm here in India. So I'm attending.
Yeah, sure. So any questions on stamp 2 or working part-time? And for example, I have one question. If you are on stamp 2 and you're in the final year and you're offered a job, so what need to be done? Because company is not ready to give you job in terms of you don't have a visa. Should you apply yourself stamp 1 G, or what is the status? Any confusion there?
Are you asking me?
No, I'm asking you questions on stamp 2 when they are moving to, from the audience, I am asking when you are on stamp 2 and when you are moving on 1G, any questions? Because I have a lot of queries coming on our Facebook DASC group. So what we should do? Should we wait for applying jobs? Or because stamp 1G, after IRP card, it takes so many months, 3, 4 months to, wait. So what is the solution at that time? Should we wait for applying jobs, or what type of different visas? Or should we fake our CV? Even people are asking these things.
You can raise a query. You have a query, Dhoni. You can raise a query.
Yes, please.
Hi. Yes, Amit. I have the query regarding that area only. So I've been actively applying for grad roles, and I guess maybe by December or May, January, if I secure a job, but I'll be on my stamp 2 as my course got started in January 2021, and it will get over by January 2022. So by the time I apply for the stamp 1G, it will be like mid March or maybe Feb. I don't know. Before that, if I secure a job, should I apply for stamp 1G, or will company directly sponsor critical visa, or should I how should I go about that?
Okay, to make one thing
Recently, I'm doing my sorry. I'm doing my master's in data analytics and looking for graduate roles near the area of business analyst and data analyst.
Okay, to make one thing very, very clear, stamp 2 only gives you the right to work 20 hours a week. Okay, so if that company takes you on board for no more than 20 hours, take it. Anything more than that, you have no right. Okay, you must wait for a stamp 1G in order to get your right to work full time. Okay, however, if that company states that yes, please come on board for 20 hours a week, and once your employment permit has been approved, and if they apply for it, or you apply for yourself with their details and you get it, then you can work 40 hours. But on a stamp 2, let's make one thing very, very clear. ग्राउंडवर्क एकदम साफ रखो. स्टैम्प 2 पे 20 घंटे ज्यादा काम नहीं कर सकते, चाहे तुम्हें फेसबुक माइक्रोसॉफ्ट कोई भी जॉब दे रहा हो. You know what I mean? So that is very clear. Stamp 1G तुम्हें चाहिए for full time, and then work permit is important. Work permit, to make an application for work permit, there is no rule that states that you must be on stamp 2, stamp 1. You don't even need to have a valid visa for applying for work permits, because that's a completely different department.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
And guys, one more thing I'll add to Shashank point, and from my experience in talking to so many members for the community. If you get a job, don't tell visa. Tell them, you hire me, you put me intern for 6 months. I'll get my visa. Right? Don't leave the opportunity. Convince them. I'll do 20 hours work for you. You can work 40 hours, but they can employ you for 20 hours, right? Don't leave the job. Convince HR manager, your reporting manager, those all people who have interviewed you, convince them hard. So there are chances, you will get, because I know 2, 3, people who got job offer. like that. They work for only for 3 months like that, 20 hours, and after that they are good to go full time. So don't leave them, mark to push your efforts. Yeah.
Just to address Agarwal Ayushi Sanjay, is there a way I can sponsor my brother's visa? His goal is to work in Ireland. I'm on stamp 1G right now, but will apply for CSC. That's family reunification, not relevant to the subject matter. So we'll not be able to answer that question.
Shashank, one thing I wanted to share. So, a few months before, I mean, I was here in Dublin, okay, due to some health issues, I had to come here back to India. So, I got some opportunity from Microsoft where they were convincing me to be a full-time employee. Okay, so that lady, she told me like you can opt for your 2 years. I mean, part time. You can do your masters part time, and you can take this as we are hiring immediate basis. So, well, I didn't do that because I was here in India. So, what do you want to say on this? Like, if they want something like, if they want to hire some candidates on like emergency basis, like it may be called an critical, right? So, and if they like me, how they informed me, like you can go for your part-time studies. So, what do you want to say on this? Like, is it really
Well,
which we
look, critical skills allows you to work. It's a work permit, right? Means permission to work in Ireland 40 hours a week. That does not mean that you can't study as well. So it's a very simple thing. If they are hiring you and they are saying that we'll give you a work permit and you can also continue your part-time education, like night classes or things like that, there's nothing stopping you from doing your masters while doing a job.
So you mean to say that's the great opportunity like anyone can have. But I think it was stamp 1G, right? And I was not in the country, and due to COVID rules, this particular thing was going to be automatic, IRP and all. So anyways, I was not being eligible for that.
Are you on stamp 1G right now?
No, not right now. My visa got expired because I left the country before. Yeah, so I informed everything. Still they were like if you want to come here you can inform us, but though it took me very much long time to stay back here in the country, right? So I don't know, I got now clear vision about what you want to say. Like if this opportunity comes, like we can do.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So you want to say irrespective of stamp 1, when company itself is providing you critical, right?
Okay, let me make one thing clear. Okay. Stamp 2, 20 hours a week, work permit. Okay, not work permit, sorry, allowed to work 20 hours a week. Stamp 2 is study visa, right? So that means you can't work full time. Stamp 1, which is a work permit, gives you the right to work 40 hours a week. But that does not mean that you cannot study at the same time. You have the right to study as well. Okay, student study visa is stamp 2. But
sorry. It was stamp 2. It was stamp 2.
Stamp 2 pay you can't work full time.
Exactly. And this lady told me that you can opt for your masters as part time and you can take this opportunity. I got a call from Microsoft only when I was here in India. So I was very confused.
No. So stamp 2 does not give you the right to work more than 20 hours a week. Okay. So if Microsoft is calling you, they're not calling in you to work for 20 hours. Are they? They're calling you to work for
40 hours.
No.
So I had also informed her about my stamp 2 and all the situation that I had recently joined and all. So she said that you can manage that accordingly and we'll take care of your visa. So there I was discussing with lot many people like what to do and what next. I didn't get a good answers or probably not a good guidance. So I spoke with my parents and I took my decision like I'll opt for masters first and then look out for this job related stuff later on, because it was very difficult for me to discuss this as it was very crucial moment, and again I was here in India, right? So I got your
one thing I
Central has a question. How long can a student stay go for holidays?
Yeah.
How
Anybody
long?
questions?
Yeah, just Senthil has a question.
Yeah.
So a student can actually go for holidays for as many number of days they want. There is as but if you miss out on your 85% attendance, then you will not get a stamp two. You will not be renewed. So if you want to go for the entire year, go for the entire year. You will not get a student stamp two again. So just be careful.
Hi, Shashank and Amit. I have a question. So I had like gone through the recruitment process of Grant Thornton, and after the final interview, they sent a rejection stating the reason that on Stamp-1G I can work for just 40 hours per week, and they said during some weeks they might require me to work for more than 40 hours. So I mean, like, that might be the case for other employers as well. So in such scenario, what shall be done?
See, that's a very precarious position. Okay. Uh, Sometimes what happens, you look, I can't really answer that question because that is something I can't really answer. Stamp-1G gives you the right to work 40 hours. Okay, if they're asking you to work more, then they are breaking the law because they can't ask anyone to work more than 40 hours on a
Yeah,
visa.
they didn't like give it in written communication. The
Yes,
HR called
that's
me
it.
and he
Yeah,
said that.
that, yeah, that's complete nonsense. But look, anyway, if your contract says 40 hours, then on paper it's 40 hours. So just be careful. I should be saying these things. It's been recorded. Yes. Hush. No,
No, as per law, Ashish, it is 40 hours normally, as we
yeah,
also work more than 40 hours. Nobody tells that.
exactly.
But
Yeah,
yeah, it's written they're asking you have to work for more than 40 hours. They have to pay overtime to you, right? And it's
yeah,
against law, more than 40 hours.
exactly. That's what it is. Look, you have to. There are some areas where you will have to decide for yourself. That is where immigration kind of overlaps human behavior. The immigration is a set belief system कि ये ऐसी होना चाहिए. But at the same time,
Right.
immigration is also very compassionate, right? So you have to take that into consideration, and you should be able to make that representation to the department and tell them, okay, this is the scene. Please don't punish me. you know
All right. Thank you.
Rohit Kumar, I'm looking for my master's degree from Ireland while doing my bachelor's degree. I had many KTs and also a year drop. Will that affect my visa process to go to? What is a KT?
Yes, Rohit, please open your, video and tell what is KT. I know what is KT, but I want to. So that's the language you should use a common language. Rohit, please open your videos. Can anybody
Backlog.
see Rohit?
I had many backlogs also year drop. No, actually, you know what? It doesn't affect your application process. It doesn't affect your application process. As long as you completed your bachelor's, because you see, when you're applying for a stamp, when you're applying to study in Ireland, what they want to see is that you have paid your fees, right? You have paid your fees, you have uh, medical insurance, you have whatever the requirements are. There's no requirement that you have a backlog or things like that. That doesn't make any sense.
See, I would like to say on this that is, unless and until college is ready to accept you as a candidate or as a
Yeah,
student in the college
yeah,
organization, whatever regardless of your experience, regardless of your like academics is, college is ready to accept you, you
yeah,
will be granted a visa.
yeah,
Visa is mostly granted based on the funds that you are showing as well as the requirement, like how you are applying for the visa,
yeah,
and they like the as per the requirement your documents and all.
yeah.
That's the whole story.
I think what's important is acceptance letter. If your college is
Exactly.
giving you the
Exactly.
acceptance offer, then you have the right to apply for a visa.
Yeah.
So that should not affect you.
Edwin, any
Yes.
question from you?
There was few questions from students who are actually coming over here. Okay, so what they were asking is like, so you mentioned we are able to like change the courses, but
Hmm.
is it possible to like change the colleges? Like, do
You can do whatever you want.
all right,
Change college, change course, no problem. As long as you do not exhaust the 7-year limit on your stamp two.
yeah. So
Because yeah,
few students when they came, they were like the college is not good. They want to get into a different college.
yeah, no
So
problem.
yeah, they were like all confused whether they have to start the whole process for the visa
Yeah,
again or
no
not.
problem. You can change your college, you can change your course. You cannot go down though. Like
Yeah,
you can't go level 8 to level 7. You always have to go up. Or you can go sideways.
right. Yeah,
Right?
that's yeah.
Any other questions?
So any other questions, guys? We are take on 1 hour. So that's quite interesting.
Sorry,
Question.
Shashank, last question.
Yes, yes.
Based on the PhD candidates, like there are two types of candidates in PhD. One is they get student visa. Another thing, they get the hosting agreement. Okay, so for hosting agreement, they get the researcher visa. That's stamp one, and the way it works, stamp one. And regarding the student visa, they get stamp two. So once they complete the 4 year of PhD, and after that, are they eligible for directly stamp four?
No.
No.
See, if you have a PhD on the basis of your student visa, which is stamp 2, it is not considered as rectangle residence. So you can't apply for stamp 4. You know?
Okay. So again, they go with the 1G process.
Yeah. Hosting agreement is actually like a work permit.
Yeah.
But you're getting paid, right? So you're paying your taxes. Whole
Mhm.
different story. PhD is different. Like stamp 2 is different. It's student permission. There was another gentleman here who had a question. I think he's just gone. Yes, Sati, please ask.
Hi, Shashank.
Hello.
Actually, mine is a practical question. I have, future past experience working in SAP, and also when I came to DBS, I just changed my, that country there, and suddenly I'm getting a lot of interview calls. But the problem is every time I have to say that I'm on stamp two. Uh, I'm not sure. Some people told me that I can go for critical visa directly, but I don't know the process. Like, what should I do? Like,
Okay, so
I can. My actually my MBA is also about to complete. I'm in the dissertation part.
yeah, no problem. Look, we're not going to discuss on how to apply for an employment permit today. I was just going to discuss what is the critical skills and general employment and differences. So let's do this. I think this is the brilliant way to end this conversation. If there's any other question, please let me know now, or else we end it. It is a brilliant way to end this conversation because this is the continuation of our next topic, how to apply for an employment permit, right? And we will discuss step by step by sharing our screen, okay, how you make an application for critical skills, right? There is no restriction on what stamp you have to be in order to apply for an employment permit. So even if you're on stamp 2, no one's stopping you to apply for an employment permit. Remember one thing, even if your visa has expired during COVID and you have an employment permit opportunity, you don't need a valid visa to make an application for employment permit. There was it's a high court decision that you don't need an employment permit. Oh, sorry, a visa. You know.
I think that's a good point. Today we are primarily focus on students and journey, but working on visas and application of critical skill is very easy because I have done myself, and we have experts like that can guide us. We'll do a follow-up event, and today we had a great discussion. 1 hour, we don't know how it passed quickly, and we'd like to thank everybody. And still, you have questions. Just see your chat. This is the channel of YouTube. I want to share everybody. We record our videos and edit them and try to make it short there. And secondly, we'll ask everybody to register as a member, as a volunteer, whatever they want. So I think Madvin, you can again share the links for, or Ankit, you can share. And just to tell you, these are the forms where we have different events, and we would like to thank today Shashank giving so much time and patience to take small or big questions. So it's only a start, guys. We have a lot of other peoples coming up helping us, the community, and we want to empower each other, help each other. And out of our team today we have Ankit, who is one of co-founder, myself, Amit. So we are settled from in Ireland, and we have Medvin is one of also co-founder, and we have a lot of volunteers, Priya, Rini. We have around 10 plus volunteers right now. Some of are there today, some might be working part time, so they could not make it. But it is a collective initiatives. You are getting the benefits. Please try to volunteer also. Again, I am telling, don't take the benefits, but volunteer also and support the community, help Indians across Ireland, not even students but professionals. So again, we thank everybody for taking 1 hour and taking giving your time, asking questions, and sharing your videos. Thanks a lot, Shashank, and everybody, every volunteer team. And
I just want to say one thing. that I loved answering all the questions and answers, and I will only do this in public events with DISC. But if you're going to approach me on a one-to-one basis, I will send you a link. So just remember that. Don't be offended.
Yeah, and Shashank, if you want to share your any link where they can connect you one to one, please, if you want to share right now in chat.
I'll share via you. Don't worry.
Okay, sure. Will that's not a problem. And guys, welcome for that. And Facebook, Ankit, can you share the Facebook link? So please post your questions for follow up. LinkedIn is being shared. Facebook primarily we see all our visas and all those questions. And we like to wind up. Please go to the links before leaving. And thanks everybody for the today event. And we are trying just waiting for the events to be closed. In terms of closing the event, I'm just waiting for you to Thanks Shashank. Thanks everybody.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
Chalo. See you guys. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.
Thank you guys. Bye bye.